What's up, people? Nature Girl 30 here, and like I said, I do my best with these Q&As, but I do appreciate you guys sticking around for these Q&As. And if you hear that, that's probably my tablet. I'm it's trying to catch up. I just turned it on, but that's the reason why I'm doing it from my phone. But anyway, this is another mini Q&A, and I'm gonna make a quick announcement before I forget. Now, there will be no Q&A on the week on the weekend or the week of Christmas. On Wednesday, the 23rd of December, or anytime during the Christmas week, there will not be a Q&A. But I will try to have a Q&A up by Wednesday on the 30th. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I actually do have something planned on my other channel that, besides the mini Q&A that I will be doing that Wednesday, I will be doing, for those who are fans of Girl Meets World, the TV series, I actually will be doing a top 3 best and worst Girl Meets World episodes list. I'm actually going to be doing my own list, the top 3, and it was pretty hard to pick the top 3. But the top 3 worst was easy. The top best was not that easy. But either or, I will be doing a top 3, and I'm going to have it up on New Year's Eve before the clock strikes 12 and before it's officially 2016. I will actually have that that top 3 best and worst already up there. So I'm just letting you guys know ahead of time. That's what I'm planning on doing. And I actually am going to do I will be doing a review for TLC this Sunday coming up, as well as a predictions video coming out on Saturday. So definitely stay tuned to that. But let's get started with the first set of questions that come from Largest85 via Twitter. What do you think of Ric Flair's segments with his daughter? I don't mind it at all. Y'all know me. I love the Nature Boy. And it seems like he is very supportive of his daughter on and off. He really does love the fact that she's in the business. She's doing well in it. And he's very proud of her. Especially at how, at this moment, she's somehow playing a heel. I don't really know what happened on Raw because I really did not watch the entire show. I heard a lot of complaints about Sasha Banks, and I did see some snippets of it on when Mr. Griffin did his video, but I did not see all of Raw. I don't know the updates of what's going on with Charlotte at this point because I just got bored at the intro. But I will say that what I saw previous, for the fact that she actually did kind of screw Becky Lynch, I actually do like the fact she might be becoming a heel. I hope that she has. I don't know what has happened since then. But the segments besides that with her being with Flair, I think they're awesome. I think this is just a dad being supportive of his daughter. A heel with a heel. At least I hope she's a heel. What do you think of the fans who wishes that Chavo, who died, okay. What do you think of the fans who wishes it was Chavo who died instead of Eddie? Wishing death on anyone is never a good thing. I mean, it's not. I'm sorry. Eddie Guerrero, nobody really knows how he died except for Chavo, Vicky, and Vince. They're the only 3 that know the cause of death. Nobody really knows the true cause of death. I think people say it's either an aneurysm or the fact that he was intoxicated. I don't know. I have no idea. So before y'all get mad, I don't know. I have no idea. But wishing death on anybody is not good, especially if that's his uncle. That's kind of dirty. Y'all need to knock it off, please. Third question: did Rey Mysterio exploit Eddie's death by accepting the push? By accepting the push that was originally intended for Chavo, and Chavo turned it down. Look, okay. All I can say is that did he exploit Eddie's death by accepting the push? No. If you have an opportunity in your face and you have an opportunity to get ahead in your career without having to step in anybody's toes or having to step on anyone's head to get there, then shoot, freaking take it. That's a blessing. But I don't think he exploited Eddie at all. I mean, that's his best friend. And more than likely, his best friend probably wanted his best friend to be pushed. And if Chavo turned it down, that's his bad. That's his fault. Nobody told him to turn it down. But if he turned it down, hey, why not have somebody else pick that up? Look, if you push your blessings away, somebody's gonna pick it up and take it. That's how I see it. If somebody accepts that blessing, they take it. If somebody doesn't want it, someone else is gonna take that blessing, and he took it. So you know what? Good for him. I don't consider him exploiting anybody. I actually see him taking an opportunity. So good for him for that moment. How many people are pissed off about Dorothy being a black woman on the new Wizard of Oz film? Does anybody really remember the Wiz? I mean, seriously, for those who are getting pissed off for the fact that Dorothy was black, does anybody remember the 1970s version of The Wiz? The Wiz was a Broadway play, people. It's been around for 3 decades. Seriously, everybody should know what The Wiz is. It's the black version of The Wizard of Oz. It's the African American retelling of The Wiz. It's of The Wizard of Oz. It's been around for years. Seriously, Michael Jackson was on it. Diana Ross is what made it famous. I mean, even though The Wiz has actually been on Broadway for years. The one thing that people remember of The Wiz was the actual was the television version that actually had Diana Ross as Dorothy Gale, and then what had Diana Ross as Dorothy, and also had Michael Jackson as the Scarecrow. Everybody remembers that, especially when Michael during his younger years was on it. If you didn't remember anybody else on there, and I think Nipsey Russell was a Tin Man. I could be wrong for those that don't remember. For those that don't remember who they were on there, people do remember the Scarecrow being played by Michael Jackson. And it was on the television version, but it's been around for years. Go look it up. Google it. It's nothing new. It's different than starting something completely fresh like they did with Fan Four Stick and had a new character in there that was black. But this has been around for years. Go back and look it up. Good grief. Before you guys get pissed off, look at your freaking research. Are they doing this to please the black community? No, like I said, The Wiz has been around since the late 1960s, early 1970s. It's been around for years, people. Look it up. Google it. Seriously, Google it. It's there. Honestly, guys, before everybody gets pissed off for no reason, just do your research. Just do your research, look it up, and watch the film for yourself. If the film is bad, like for example, Annie of course was a comic book strip before it became a famous movie, or before it became a Broadway play and then it became a famous movie. And yes, Annie was played by a white girl every single time. And I think the one that I remember from Broadway was the one that's played by Sarah Jessica Parker when she was a child. And then you end up having Annie, the musical, on screen, on the movie screen, which was very good in itself. I didn't necessarily like the movie Annie because I just didn't like the movie Annie. But I love the actress, the young actress that actually played Annie, the young black actress that played Annie. She was pretty much the saving grace of the whole film. But the film didn't really know what it was going to do with itself. It was not that great, but it was good because she was on there. But it wasn't really that great to watch. I didn't like it at all. But she was a gem. But either or, why don't you guys take a look at all these things you're bitching about before you decide that it's bad? Excuse my language, but let's be real here. You guys are bitching and moaning about something that you haven't really experienced yet. So why don't you just go watch the freaking show, and if it's bad, it's bad. But instead of saying that the actress, because it's black, is going to be bad, just see the stupid picture before you even make that judgment call. Seriously. And look it up. Especially The Wiz. It's been around for decades. Get a grip. Seriously. Excuse my language, people, but on the real, you guys really need to stop whining and moaning about all this race and stuff. I'm sick of hearing about racism. And I'm sick of everybody whining and complaining and moaning all about racism. Just get a grip. But anyway, I'm not going to really make it a racist rant. You guys know how I feel about racism, and I'm not going to really go into it. But enough is enough. Seriously. Maybe I went off a little bit off the hinge when I, said everybody was bitching and moaning, but seriously, that's what y'all are doing. But enough of that. Let's get started with some of the questions. And I know Final Limits, you sent me something on Facebook about some boxcar stuff. I don't really care. I don't want to hear anything about racism, and I know it's the fact about, I think it's about Eva Marie. But I think you actually did send me the question via YouTube, so I'm going to get to that. But anyway, let's get started with your question, Final Limits, on YouTube. Have you heard that some sick bastards were planning to rape and kill Eva Marie? Honestly, why? Why? If you don't like the character, don't like the character. Is it that necessary to go to jail? Is that necessary to take someone's life? Seriously, is it that necessary to humiliate that person in that way? Why does it have to be that to that extreme? It's a show, people. If that's true, and I hope it's not, it's ridiculous. The same thing with these John Cena haters. Don't get me wrong. I didn't like John Cena's character when it came to Survivor Series, but did I want to kill the man? No. Get a grip. Find something else to do. Find a better freaking hobby. Is Eva Marie getting more hate than Cena at this point? Honestly, no. I don't think anything fathoms John Cena, but let's put it this way. John Cena hasn't really been on our screen for a few months. Eva Marie is getting the Vicky Guerrero treatment. And if she gets the belt, she's going to get the JBL treatment. But it's going to be to her benefit because she's playing it to the hilt. Unlike John Cena, who decides to stay who he is and who has kept who he is because nobody wants him to be changed, she's embracing her hatred. She's embracing the haters because the haters are going to elevate her. And that's how she's seeing it. She knows where she came from. She knows her background. And she's rolling with it. As for John Cena is open to change from the rumors that I've heard. But since he's so big up on the food chain, they don't want that money to diminish. So they're going to keep him the way he is no matter how much people want him to change. No matter how much he wants to be changed. So she's open to do whatever she wants right now. She's not at that John Cena level. But when she gets to that John Cena level and she's good at being hated and she wants to be different, she can't be. Because if she makes some money, they're going to keep her the way she is. Same thing with John. He's stuck where he's at right now. So I can't really say he's on the same level of hatred because, number one, Eva Marie is just an upstarter. She's an up-and-comer. She's not really at that point yet. But John Cena is hatred all over the world. For her, it's probably in limited places. There's a few people that like her. But as for John Cena hate, no, I don't think she's there yet. Who is the most hated of all the three? Eva Marie, John Cena, or Roman Reigns? John Cena. Still, by far, it's John Cena. Roman Reigns has a mixed bag. Eva Marie got more hate with the dudes than anything else. Because right now, I guess they like their chicks with edge. There are more dudes that hate on Eva Marie than anyone else. Women love Eva Marie. There's some women that love Eva Marie. There's little girls that love Eva Marie. Red Army, Red everything. There's a lot of women that love Eva Marie because of her background and where she's coming from. Dudes can't stand her. I don't really know why. I think they think she's plastic and fake. But a lot more men can't stand Eva Marie than women and little girls. And some little boys actually do like Eva. But it's a mixed bag with Roman Reigns. You got some folks that feel bad about Roman Reigns because of how he was pushed and how he was treated. And then you got those that hate Roman Reigns because they're comparing him to who? John Cena. The hatred equation is always going to turn up and equal to John Cena. So John Cena's hatred way surpass those two by far. And it always will be unless he decides to go heel, which they will never let him do. But good question. Do you think the Lex man needs to grow up and accept that Daniel Bryan's career is over? Like I said, I do not watch a lot of the Lex man's videos, but when I actually do see it, he has valid points in some of the things he says. He is a Daniel Bryan mark. I will not deny that. He will not deny that. He is a Daniel Bryan mark. Some of the things that he does say when Daniel Bryan was on the air did sound a little bit biased towards Daniel Bryan. But he's a Daniel Bryan mark, so you can expect that. All I can say is that if you are a mark for a certain wrestler, you have every right to feel the way you feel. especially when it comes to that Russell wanting to come back. He loves Daniel Bryan. He wants him to come back. Just like everybody was complaining about CM Punk leaving, and people kept chanting CM Punk to come back when they thought he would come back out of magic. But no, he didn't come back. Do they still hate CM Punk? No. They love CM Punk. They still in the back of their minds want CM Punk to come back for one more match. But he's not. Even though we know he's not. They refuse to believe that he won't. But either or, I will say this. He has every right to feel the way he feels because he's a mark. And he won't deny he is one. So if he still wants him to come back, I'm not going to say he needs to grow up. But I'm going to say that, hey, he's a mark. Everybody has that right for that little... They have a right to hope. I'm going to say that. And your last question is, why are My Little Pony fans called bronies? The reason why they call bronies is because they're dudes. Dudes who are My Little Pony fans are called bronies. Just like everybody puts bro on the end of everything to make it dude-like. Just like, for example... I guess it was maybe in the mid-2000s when bro was on everything. No, when guy was on everything. Or was that like from the late... Actually, I think that was up to now. They was guy everything or man everything. I think man everything was like the beginning of the 2000s. Like manland and manscaping and man this and man that. And then it ended up being from man to bro. And then from bro to guy. Like guy code and all this other stuff, and just to make it less gay. That's my opinion. For guys that don't want to seem gay, they add man on it to bring some masculinity to it. Even though it doesn't really make any sense, and it's pointless to even try to masculize it, or if that's a word, make it more masculine or whatever to make it less feminine. It's just stupid. But bronies actually are men who like My Little Pony, or young men who like My Little Pony, like the whole bro code thing. And I guess it would make sense to kind of differentiate My Little Pony fans who are women, even though they're just fans. Then I don't know, they're just fans of the show. The whole broning thing is just something that somebody made up. But yeah, it's to make it less gay. No offense to those who are gay. I'm not insulting you. But I'm saying, yes, it's for some men who are, I don't know. That's just my opinion. In my opinion, it's just to make it less gay. But I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, let's move on to the next question. From Just Inside. What are your thoughts on my boy Tony Evans from Twitter? Yeah, I had plenty of really, really, really rude things to say about Tony Evans, and I choose not to say him here. I already kind of tipped over the profanity scale by saying the word bitch, even though, well, technically it's actually a female dog, so it's not really a profanity, it's actually a definition. But despite all that, I will not in any way, shape, or form say anything about Tony Evans because I'm going to go off the handle. And I'm just going to leave it at that. I have nothing nice to say about him. And I am not going to even go there and even have a response about it. So I'm done. I'm not going to say anything about him. I'm going to keep it moving. And seeing what you called Zay in one of your questions shows me that you probably are his friend. And that's a shame. I pity both of you. Are you glad? Whatever. Next. I answered one of your questions, so yeah, you'll be on my end credits. Moving to Shoro Roro Hayoyor. Do you think season 3 of Girl Meets World will be serious or at least try to be in high school? The one thing that has pissed me off about this series, and I actually did do a review on it, so I'm probably going to put my last review of Girl Meets New Year's somewhere in the card above for those who are interested. But the one thing that pissed me off is that they could have done everything right. I'm already disappointed by WWE's choice in storylines and how they choose to go in the direction they're going. Pretty much the direction towards the redundant. But regardless of that, I will say that for Girl Meets New Year's, it pissed me off so much because they had the potential to do something different. Not do the same thing that all these ridiculous high school, preteen, preen, whatever you call them, tween dramas are doing, and they're sticking to the same shtick. I thought they would do something completely different. somewhat in the same in the same lengths as what Boy Meets World did. And what they did was they had everything natural. It went with the flow. They went against the grain. They talked about issues that was kind of taboo towards that time, but they brought it up for that day, for that era that people could relate to. And when it came to relationships, they went in naturally. If there was chemistry between two people, they went with that. If it didn't work out, they went off and did something else. They stuck to the same thing. New Year's is something about starting over. It's a meaning for a lot of people about starting over. That's what they should have done. They should have had the entire thing start anew instead of sticking to the same old ridiculous drama that they have with that whole love triangle. That's why I hate love triangles, because they're literally beating like a dead horse and it takes forever for them to move on. And they could have done that, but they didn't. But I'm not gonna really get into it. Not too much, but either or, I'll just have my full review up there somewhere, and I already put it up there so you guys can look at it later. But is it gonna be serious? Serious about the love triangle, the ridiculous nonsense that a lot of these stupid shows are stuck on right now. But anyway, it does kind of piss me off. How does Girl Meets World do in the ratings? Girl Meets World is one of the top shows on Disney right now, like one of them. There's probably a few more, but when it comes to all their other preteen shows, it's the top one. A lot of people stay tuned on Friday evenings to watch that show, and not really so much the kids of this era, the younger teenagers of this era, but the adults who are fans of Boy Meets World. They're watching this show with them, so a lot of people actually sit down and watch it as a family show. So it's actually doing very well in the ratings. Hence why they decided to have a season 3. It's doing pretty good. If it's gonna go to college, I have no idea. Why are you not vegetarian or vegan? The reason why I am not, because I am a meat eater. Seriously, I love meat. I don't eat meat all the time, but I know I won't give it up. I do eat vegetables with my meals, but I do not just eat flat out vegetables. I don't. There are times that I do have vegetarian days where I just decide to have nothing but vegetables for my meal. And that's because I'm not up to eating any meat that day. But I make the choice of when I want meat or not. I'm the omnivore. I will always be an omnivore. So I will not go strictly vegan, and it won't be for diet reasons. If it's for an allergy, I understand. But I'm not allergic to meat. So I'm going to enjoy it, and I'm going to savor it, and I'm going to eat turkey on Thanksgiving, and I'm going to eat barbecue, and I'm going to eat ham, and I'm going to eat whatever I want because I'm omnivore. There you go. That's my explanation. Okay. What could be the first 2 games you would buy when you get an Xbox One? Definitely Gears of War 4. It should be 5 in my opinion, but they're not counting Judgment. Gears of War 4 definitely. I do not know about buying Halo, but I will get the Tomb Raider, or Rise of Tomb Raider. From what I absolutely loved Tomb Raider on 360. I love Tomb Raider on 360, but I'm gonna definitely get Rise of Tomb Raider if I ever get an Xbox One, and I am planning on getting one. But when I get one, I'm actually gonna get the Gears of War pack that has all 3 Gears of Wars, including I think a pre-order of Gears of War 4. And then I'm also going to probably get Rise of Tomb Raider, just like I said. And maybe, just maybe, Mortal Kombat 10. I call it 10. I don't call it X. I call it 10. I might get that. Why would you choose that over a PS4? One reason. Hands. My hands are huge. And for those who are looking at these giant mitts, yeah, I have really big hands, and I have tried to play I've tried to play a PlayStation for the longest. I have tried. But my hands are so big, it's so awkward holding the controller. Hence why I always have to get something bigger, and that's why I get an Xbox One, because I have really big hands. It doesn't work with a PlayStation 4. It just don't. It never worked with the PlayStation. It was awkward when I played it. It made my hands cramp up. So that is the reason why I actually get an Xbox One. The controller is bigger, and it's bigger, and I like it. And not to mention, the games are a little bit more aggressive. And yeah, PS4 has a lot of adventure games, but their games are just, I'm sorry, I prefer to have my Xbox One. I do. That's just me. I might get a PS4 sometime, but I'm not right now. Thoughts on Dragon Ball Z? Dragon Ball Z is still a great anime series, even though it's been out for as long as it has. I didn't really get any of the latest movies. From what I heard, it's actually pretty good. I never really knew about the showing that they had about Frieza, that when Frieza was brought back from the dead, just to retrain to see if they could beat him like for reals. But from what I heard from my friend Rico, it actually really was a good film. I still enjoy it, but then I can't help but laugh when I remember seeing Dragon Ball Z on Toonami and how it was like, next time on Dragon Ball Z, ah! Like they literally spent an entire episode hulking up, and I found that so funny. I really still find that funny. So yeah, but I still like the series. I got no beef with it at all. Moving on to Dustin Nunn. Yeah, that's it for you. Moving on to Dustin Nunn. Are you familiar with the band called The Verve that sings Bittersweet Symphony? Yeah. Bittersweet Symphony was one of my favorite songs back in the day. But I think that was The Verve's number one hit. I think that was the only hit they had, especially in the States. I don't know if they're still on tour or anything, but that's the only song that I know that was actually a hit in the States. And I think they were a one-hit wonder. I'm not sure. If I'm wrong, fine, leave in the comments, correct me. But I think they are a one-hit wonder. But I did enjoy the song. Next set of questions comes from Lino Gino. Like I said about the Wiz. No, it is not said. Go back, do your research. Okay. It baffles me how Hollywood is catering to African Americans. Oh, okay. Like I said, the Wiz has been out for decades. It's not catering to anybody, people. It's a classic. Okay, and what if they casted you as Cinderella? They didn't cast me as Cinderella, but Brandy actually was casted as Cinderella on an NBC version of Cinderella. It was during the times when NBC was doing their own rendition of a live fairy tales, and it actually was a huge hit. So when Brandy was at her A game in the 90s, they actually did do an African American version of Cinderella, but not all black. It had a white prince, but a black Cinderella. And it actually had Whitney Houston as the fairy godmother. But honestly, it was mixed races. No, wait, they had an Asian prince. They had an Asian prince and a black Cinderella. Either or, guys, it was a mixed bag. They had, not mixed bag, but it was mixed races. It just wasn't one race. And it actually really was a pretty good version of it. I enjoyed it. As long as it stuck to the premise, it didn't really make it a joke, and they didn't. It was pretty good. Look it up and watch it before you comment. Anyway, moving on from there. Good grief. And since you sent me to Showro, I'm going to go ahead and respond to this one. Do you follow Virgil on Twitter? How funny is he? No, I haven't, but I definitely will follow him and check him out. What happened to Twipple J? I have no idea what happened to him. I haven't heard from him in a minute. I actually like Dustin Nunn. I don't really find him annoying at all. And like I said, what are your thoughts? Well, I actually did make a comment towards Tony Evans, and I really don't want to. But one of my thoughts towards the Evans apocalypse, he must have a whole ton of Twitter handles. Seriously. But either or, I'm not a big fan of the guy. There you go. Nothing more. Nothing less. That's it. But guys, this is another Q&A. Done. In the books. In the bag. Whatever. But like I said before, there will be no Q&A during the week of Christmas. None whatsoever. There will not be a Q&A around that week. But the week after, on the 30th, there will be a Q&A. And on New Year's Eve, there will be a top three best and worst Girl Meets World episodes that I will put on my other channel. I will leave it in the link above, or the card above, for you guys to check it out. Live Life Love 32. I know it's a mouthful, but hey, that is my my other channel, so definitely check it out there. Nature Girl 30 signing off. Peace out, guys. Later.